So we have most traders missing the major warning signals which are currently present in the crypto charts, and they're making the wrong move. So in today's show, we're going to discuss what that means, what that wrong move looks like, and where price is going to next. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. I've been in crypto since 2017. I've invested in well over 100 different crypto projects. Actually, my portfolio alone right now is over 100 coins. So I am here to guide you through the ebbs and the flows. You can see over here on the Banter Bubbles charts, a lot of the coins are red, and there is a little bit of panic following the extreme FOMO that we saw come into the markets, with a lot of late buyers stepping in. The question is this a major top that we're seeing within the market, or a local top? Are we going in for a deep pullback or just a small pullback? You let me know. There is a poll that we're currently running. If you run through to the poll section over here, is a Bitcoin pullback on the table? No, send it higher, small pullback of 10%, or yes, we're going 30% down at least. Please vote over there. We'll tally up the votes towards the end and see where the majority of the sentiment does lie. Well, there's no doubt that we've seen extreme greed come into the crypto markets. Yesterday, I think we're sitting somewhere around 89 on the Fear and Greed Index, that being one of the highest levels that we've seen pretty much this entire cycle, and we have dropped down to 80 with this very, very small flash. So if we have a look at this on this price scale, which we have in the blue over here, this is trailing Bitcoin's price, and then having a look at how that correlates with those periods of extreme fear and greed. And you can see we just printed that 80 to 90 read over there with the green dot, and that's actually where we put in the last local top. So the question is, are we about to do the same thing? Are we about to go into a long-term correction? We're going to break it down in today's shows. I'm going to give you all the various different levels. I will let your emotions get at ease by letting you know that it's very, very unlikely that we're going in to a bear market right now. The reason why is the difference between what we put in on the top over there. We had come off a massive rally, right, peaking at those tops, and then we went in for an 8-month correction or consolidative phase, and now we're just putting in that again extreme greed following breaking out of an 8-month trading range, which makes it very, very unlikely that you're putting in a major cycle top and that we're going to break down. In actual fact, if you look to the prior times that we put in those 80 reads in the 2020 to 2021 bull run over here, we did get an extremely aggressive move. And if we actually look at the 90 to 100, you can see how the color scheme lights up over there. And that actually leads to those parabolic advancements. But it's still something that shouldn't be ignored. You do need to gauge when there is going to be a little bit of a sentiment reset, and that can occur in the form of a shorter term pullback. So if you go through and you vote over here, I guess that I'm probably somewhere in the camp over here where the majority are lying, which is probably a small 10% pullback is still on the table. I'm going to show you exactly why in today's show. That should give a much needed reset on the Fear and Greed Index, because you don't want to move up too quickly. The other warning signs that we've had over here is you can see when we get those periods of extreme ETF inflows, oftentimes a couple of days later, this kind of works like a histogram chart where you then start to get a couple of days of outflows. And usually that's where the ETF market participants end up selling the dip that they should be buying, and they're buying into the pump that they should be selling. So it's kind of like retail against the institution, or at least the ETF buyers over here. They're also retail buyers, but I guess we, the smart retail, going against the old school retail that participate in institutional funds, right? So that's what we're looking at over there. You can also see, interesting enough, you have that long to short ratio at 51.25%. Now majority looking for short trades over here, and that always opens up the possibility that they could get squeezed out of the market, right? The other thing that we're looking at, which is pretty interesting, is of course going to be the Coinbase app ranking. Now we number one on finance apps, and oftentimes when we get to number one for the Coinbase or any crypto related app, that is a bit of a warning sign. But the good news is that we only number 13 when it comes to all apps, right? When you start to get to number one on all apps across the entire app store, that's where it starts to become an incredibly heated signal, right? That's not the case right now, back down to 13, but number one in finance, it's all good. But probably the major signal that I want to consider over here is going to be this. It's the TD9 Sequential. Now, we've spoken about this. When you move into periods of price discovery, it becomes increasingly difficult to determine where price may top. So there's a few things that you can look at, right? The first thing that you can look at is you can look at those Fibonacci extensions, right? How far is price extending? Another thing that that you can look at is the BBWP, which is a Bollinger Band width percentile. This shows you how overheated the move is getting, right? How extreme is the volatility? If the volatility starts to reach very, very extreme reads, that could be one potential signal of a top. You can also pay attention to some sentiment factors like YouTube views. You can look at the Twitter analysts and the amount of followers they're gaining, as well as the amount of tweets that they're putting out, because there must be a certain source that people are going to go to for information. You can look at how overextended price is away from high time frame moving averages like the 200-week moving average or the 21 weekly exponential moving average. And then one of the other things that you can look at is going to be this. It's the TD sequential, the Tom DeMark 9 count. And what that simply means is it refers to consecutive daily candles of price action closing higher and higher and higher. And usually that leads to an overextension, which means you have to, at the very, very least, have a 1 to 4 candle correction. Now, that 1 to 4 candle correction can theoretically be sideways, at which point you would print a bull flag, which would therefore lead to continuation higher. But in some instances, it may lead to a deeper pullback. Now, I've outlined the levels below. This is in a worst case scenario. Should the bears take a little bit of control, bulls take a little bit of profit over here, then you can expect in the short term, you may get a bit of a pullback. And there's going to be some obvious areas that a lot of people are going to be targeting, but I'll show you why I think these are maybe going to be missed, right? You have the CME futures gap firstly coming in right around that predicted level that the majority of you in the YouTube poll have given, around that 10% drawdown, right? So CME futures gap, this is oftentimes filled, not always, but oftentimes filled. This would be a worst case scenario, is $77,995 up to about $80,700. So give or take, you'd be looking for price to come slap bang into that $79,000 to $80,000 territory, and expect there's going to be a massive amount of buyers that are going to be in that region. Now, I think that the most obvious levels are oftentimes missed. They're either going to be overshot or they're going to be completely front run. In the instance that this level gets overshot, expect that you would then move all the way back down into the SR flip region. That's going to be your support resistance flip, also your prior range breakout level, and that's going to be a very, very strong buy zone coming in at $73,000, right? So something like that, and then you're looking for price to continue on up. But I think these are incredibly unlikely scenarios. I'd lean much stronger towards the fact or the possibility that you're probably going to get front running with buyers stepping in before the CME gap gets hit over there, and then price will probably catapult towards the upside. So nevertheless, we must outline the risk factors. This is one of the risk factors. The risk factor being you're on a TD sequential 9 top looking for potential pullback. And I found in my time of trading bull markets, this has been a highly accurate signal, right? And then, of course, the other things that we mentioned, of course, a little bit of exuberance within the market coming in with extreme greed over there. We have the ETF flows as well, having gone from positive back down, now flipping into the negative. We have the Coinbase app ranking. We have the TD sequential. We also have the overextension away from the 21 exponential moving average, as well as the 200 weekly moving average. And then the next factor that we have is, of course, this USDT dominance. As I mentioned, I'm leaning towards the possibility that you're going to front run this and probably bounce off $85,000. I'll show you why $85,000 in a moment. That would still lead to a little bit of a pullback, right? $85,000 would still be about 4% down for Bitcoin. And the other reason for that belief is because, of course, all the risk factors that we have to consider is the USDT market cap, which currently is finding support over here and starting to move up. Now, I would like to think that if you do push up into this region at about 4.82%, that's going to be your major resistance, which we outlined over there in the form of that X mark over here. This is your little order block that led to the acceleration down. If you do get this little bit of a spike up in the USDT dominance, that probably brings Bitcoin down just a little bit more, possibly hitting that key $85,000 territory. I'm going to show you in a moment why I'm looking at that as a significant zone. And then this should hopefully continue back down, leading to the next pump from $85,000 and continuation onwards and upwards, and possibly even see that parabolic advancement phase, just like we saw in the prior cycle, where the greed comes back even quicker. Why so? Well, one of the reasons would be because now the orders which are currently staggered in the CME futures gap over here, as well as some that may be staggered over here, would have missed their orders. And once again, they're going to be left chasing price, having to raise these orders up and chase price as it moves up, thus creating an even bigger pump. The other factor that I do want to mention is that if you look at last weekend's price action, so currently we are on Friday. So if you go a couple of days back, let's quickly use this vertical line. It should be right over here where things started to go vertical. So this was Saturday over there, and we went into the Sunday and Monday pump, right? So in that time period over there, when you consider the fact that this very rarely happens, that you get these almost $10,000 candles over the course of a weekend for Bitcoin, we're now going into yet another weekend. So I'm kind of in two minds of thought, or two frames of thought. One is that the retail participants who missed out, who probably found out about crypto heating up once again over the course of last weekend, probably sat all week trying to determine whether they should enter the market. That takes a couple of days to think about, right? Then they still have to prepare their crypto exchanges, get things ready, withdraw money from savings accounts, etc., deposit those onto the exchanges. So in one frame, I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, these guys are going to be sitting over the course of the weekend looking to gain their entry. And in a low liquid environment, you may see a little bit of a pump across the market over the course of Saturday and Sunday. I will be on Saturday to broadcast live. So if anything major happens like that, we'll make sure that we catch it. But in the other frame of mind, it's very rare that you get back-to-back weekends where you see God candles like that, which is why I would say that the most optimistic case really for the short term is that you just hold price action sideways over here and you defend that $85,000 level. So those are things I'm considering. In the Whale Room Discord, I've actually written a full in-depth analysis on this and what I'm thinking about, as well as a whole lot more of where I think price is going. And I've also given a series of different coins that look strong on the 2-week time frame. If you guys do want that, there is a link in the description below over here that will take you to the Whale Room Discord. Remember, we're currently running the Black Friday special. If you want to join the wealthiest traders in the world, make sure that you do jump in there. There's a whole lot of alpha. So with that being said, in terms of the medium to long time frame, nothing remains unchanged, right? Everything is exactly the same. We're following the trajectory to absolute perfection. It's a question of, should you be holding leverage trades open now over the course of the weekend, or is that too risky, right? I think it's too risky. I think that it's probably better to tighten your stop losses in the event of increased volatility with a spike towards the downside based on those factors that I've given you, and rather maintain your spot positions and in anticipation, at least for the next move up. Now, I'm personally looking for still strong continuation all the way to March. And the reason why is because this is what we've historically seen, right? We've historically seen once price starts to mark up over here, you get at least between 2 and 4 months of continuation, which means your spot positions are going to be A-okay, right? Then we can start to look for a little bit of profit taking going into Q1, the transition from Q1 to Q2, possibly next year, somewhere within that region, maybe the end of Q1, beginning of Q2, we start to exit some of those positions, take a bit of profits, and then we'll be looking for a dip into May, June. We'll reaccumulate, and then we'll finish the cycle off, right? So far, everything is going according to plan. This has been the outline that we've given over here. Another thing that I'm looking at is the drop-off in volume. You do want to see that volume start to increase towards the upside at some point in time. Your monthly scale also hit the 1.618 Fib extension, and there was some obvious profit taking in that region. But the month is still young. The month is still very, very young, with 15 days and 17 hours left to go. You may have interim profit taking right now, where late traders are going to try and step in, those retail participants who got their accounts ready over the course of this week and are getting the funds deposited, which may only arrive by this weekend. That's why I still think that this monthly candle has a lot more to go. And I would not be surprised to see this monthly candle trading above $100,000 by the end of this month, with closing price action over there, right? So all in all, here's our fractal. Everything is following according to plan. Everything is following to perfection. It looks super, super good. What we need to see as well is at the end of this weekly close, did we have maintenance of this daily 7-day exchange volume ticking towards the upside. This would support the fact, or the speculation at least, that some of those retail participants are still depositing capital onto exchanges, prepping to get ready, right? It's not always as instant as you think, right? Especially with a lot of the banks around the world are still not crypto friendly, and it takes time for people to get that capital onto exchanges. So given the excitement that we've had over the last 7 days, there's a good chance that you see continuation of the 7-day exchange volume moving towards the upside. And if you start to trade and hold above that $100 to $150 billion mark, that's going to be very, very telling, very, very strong. The other thing is, you can see over here, the small little bit of profit taking has reset the leverage just as quickly as that, right? If we go into a lower time frame, it's probably better seen. You can see even over the course of yesterday, the areas of extreme orange, yellow over there now slowly turning green. What this simply means, when it's orange and yellow, it's like a traffic light, right? Slow down, right? Things are getting a bit aggressive. When it's green, it's kind of where you're more in a safer position to start to put positions on the table. If you look at the 2-week scale, there you can see it. We had this period of extreme and now suddenly resetting, which tells you that there still could be a lot of momentum. If we were holding those orange and yellow periods for periods of weeks, right, with parabolic advancements, let's say 4 weeks from now, we've just been printing something like this, Bitcoin's trading at $125,000 to $145,000. Then I would start to say to you, we've been moving up very, very quickly. So you have another strong monthly candle like this, and then you look at the leverage and it's all orange like that. That's where I'm going to tell you, now we're looking for a longer term correction as opposed to just a quick short dip. That's probably going to be eaten up at $85,000 and immediate continuation. So part of the reason for the short-lived dip, again, the long to short ratio, obviously more on the short side right now, which shows you liquidations are going to be above $20 million worth of liquidations if price just comes into that $88,793 region. People are very quick to short. That's the one thing I can say with confidence I would encourage you not to do, right? A lot of trading is all about probabilities, ifs, this, and maybes, right? But one thing I can tell you with certainty is you do not, this is a guarantee, you do not want to try and short a raging bull market like this as price is expanding. You're going to get absolutely rinsed. So if you look at the trading range, in those worst case scenarios, should you come back down over here, you can see the confluence of strength, right? First, you have a very big fair value gap. You have the SOS phase, which was the breakout level that price has not yet retested. If you were to come back to that, that's a strong level. You have your previous month's high. You have the previous quarterly high. There's so much support over here. So if you are in a spot trade and you swing long and you were long from much, much lower, it probably makes a bit of sense to start to raise your stop losses at this point below this previous week's low, which is where the expansion took place, right? If you start to break below the previous week's low, that becomes incredibly, incredibly bearish, right? And this is just to advocate how quickly we've moved, right? 40% in pretty much a week, right? Previous week's low to this week, now just over a week, 40% move on Bitcoin. It's been absolutely massive. Now, this is where I get that $85,000 target from. This is the bottom of the range over here. The bottom of the pink box over here denotes the range low. The top denotes the range high over there on the daily time frame. And then you have these EMAs, which are currently moving up, and that's going to add additional support, which is likely to meet up, some point between, probably depends on when, today or maybe tomorrow. It's going to line up around that $85,000 mark. In bull markets, you typically want to mark from the local low to the local high, and you want to have a look to that 0.382 level. Now, I'm not ruling out the possibility that you might see 1 or 2 scam wicks that quickly come down, hit that level, and then immediately get brought up. What I'm really looking for over here is I'm looking for closing candles. No candles should close below that $85,000 level. That's going to be an incredibly telling sign that bulls are still maintaining control, and you can expect that this may occur for a couple of days, right? Possibly even into next week before leading into major continuation. This would be a very healthy sign, allowing those EMAs to catch up over here, as well as the 200 MA, which is hanging all the way down here. Those can start to rise, adding additional support. And then you have your 382 which is the bull fib, where price oftentimes finds support and bounces. Where would I start to invalidate? Well, if you start to close multiple candles below this bull fib, already at that point in time, you're going to threaten this uptrend, and then you may actually be going in for that much deeper pullback, right? But for now, as it currently stands, things are looking okay, especially since the fact that we've recently just printed yet another bull moon. Now, those of you that are new here probably think that I'm an absolute lunatic that reads tea leaves and looks to the stars, but that's absolutely not the case. In actual fact, I don't even believe in star signs. I think if you're choosing your life partner based off star signs, you're doing it wrong, right? So let's just get that out of the way. The second thing that I want to mention is the moon phases tend to work because your body is mostly made up of water, right? And the moon affects the tides and the waters. And consequently, you go into these emotional swings. And we've seen it. We can back test it, right? There's not guesswork. You can go through into a strategy test over here, and you can actually back test how successful this is. And what you'll find is it's highly successful, around a 75 to 80% hit rate, give or take. And you don't need to trade it blindly either, right? You can look in alignment with the trend, with the key levels that are situated below over here. You print the bull moon over here. You have support underneath. This simply suggests that over the course of the next 2 weeks, we should see some more optimism coming back into the market. Look out the window this evening and remind yourself that the full moon is coming. All right, guys. So let's continue on over here. Since that's going to be the case, you probably want to get your accounts ready. A reminder, there's an amazing initiative for a $1 million prize pool that you can win if you do join into the Blowfin War of the Whales, right? I love it. I love it. All their at least imagery and logos match Whale Room. It's amazing. Great partner over here. So if you do want to participate in that $1 million prize pool, click the link in the description below. This is a non-KYC exchange, which means you don't need to go through all the red tape and the headaches of providing your passport, your birth certificate, who your 6 children are, and everything you've done in your entire life, right? You simply just sign up, put your email address in, and you're in, right? As easy as that. Go through to the link below. That's Blowfin. The good news is if you sign up to Blowfin, you can simultaneously enter into the Win a Bitcoin competition, where you can not only win the $1 million prize pool if you're a great trader, but you can also win a full Bitcoin just for guessing the price of Bitcoin come the 1st of January, right? All the everything that you need is in the description. If you want to read up about how it works, it's all over there for you, right? So let's continue. Moving on. Bitcoin dominance is absolutely ripping towards the upside. Massive move. I actually just made a tweet that surely by now the ETH BTC bulls or the ETH maxis should just lift up the white flag, right? Just pull it out, guys. It's over. Pull up the white flag, capitulate, and then let's reverse this. Typically, when you see those mass capitulations, you usually get the reversal. I just want the ETH maxis to capitulate. Let's get it over with. There's your ETH BTC chart. It's still nuking towards the downside. Timing-wise, we're sticking with the same plan. By the end of December, I think that sometime December, January, we would have seen the bottom on this ETH BTC chart, and that's going to turn the corner for the rest of the altcoin sector, right? This candle's not over yet. The ETH USD candle's not over. I outlined and showcased how, if we start to break above 3,500 over here, this will get very, very exciting. In a couple of minutes' time, towards the end of the show, we're going to get into a lot of the 2-week charts, the ones that are posted for the Whale Room members that look good, right? ETH actually is on that 2-week list of one of the charts that do look decent when you're considering from a 2-week perspective, a high time frame chart, which when price is moving, I think is important to look at. So hopefully soon the ETH maxis raise the white flag, capitulate, and we can see some sort of a macro reversal over here. We actually took this trade a couple of weeks ago. You can see over there 2 weeks ago. Crypto warning, death of ETH is providing a huge opportunity. If you go through to this and you go under the under my links, if you go into my profile over here and you go and look for this video, I really recommend that you watch it, because we're actually going to be following up as part of a series over here. So what we did over here is we had a look at we were analyzing and seeing where we think that ETH is most likely to go, and we said that probably by a certain date based on the incredibly low volatility that we were seeing over here. Let's just quickly go to it. There we go. Based on the incredibly low volatility that we were seeing over here on the ETH chart, we were looking at continuation higher, and we said at a minimum by March, ETH should be trading above $4,000, right? There it is. So we had a look at all of these various different factors. There were many things we looked at. We looked at, for example, the Bitcoin quarterly returns, which are typically best in Q4, but the ETH quarterly returns, which are typically best in Q1. Remember, Q1 is going to be next year, between January and March. And consequently, we went through to take some options trades on Durbit, right? So if you did take that trade alongside us, we wrote a full article on it, how I plan to make $850 profit on one ETH by only paying $350. So you can basically buy one ETH at that time for $350, and then you minus you take the strike price plus the ticket price that you paid, which was the 350, plus whatever the strike price was. I think it was about 1,000. And then you can subtract the price of what ETH is following that options expiration date and basically bank the profits, right? So there's your strike prices over there. We went through the full analysis. Now we're looking to do the same thing again, but on Solana. If you want to participate in this trade once again, those ETH options, by the way, now are not $350. You're probably paying over $1,000 each, which means you can't buy ETH for $350 anymore, which is why we're looking to another trade with a different strategy. And we're going to do this one on Solana. So if you do want to follow along, I recommend first go through to this video so you can get a bit of an understanding. Again, crypto warning, death of ETH. That's the one. It's got this image. Just go look back for this one over here. Once you find that, watch it. Tomorrow, we're going to do another video, but the one on Solana. I've already pre-prepped an article for you guys so you can get up to scratch before we actually do the show. There's a link in the description below. You'll need to sign up to, here it is under the newsletter section. You'll need to sign up. It's free, by the way, guys, absolutely free. Sign up to the Whale Crypto Trades newsletter, right? In that newsletter, I've already outlined the plan for what we're going to do. So you can do it today. You can probably front run me. The more people that join into this option strategy, the quicker the price appreciates on those options, right? So everything is explained for what we're going to be doing on the Solana trade. We've already planned it out, and I'm just going to do it live on the show tomorrow. So this is through Deribit. If you do options trading, you'll need Deribit. What is options trading in a nutshell, guys? Options give you the right, but not the obligation to buy or sell a crypto asset, right? It's the right, but not the obligation. You buy the right, which is a ticket reservation price for very, very cheap. And then if the price is favorable, according to your analysis and what you wanted to see, then you have the potential obligation where you can buy or sell that asset, right? So everything is explained below. They're currently also running a competition. It's not only for options. You can trade spot and futures on Deribit as well. There's a link in the description below. So get your accounts ready for that. That is what we're going to be doing on tomorrow's show. And if the market's pumping, we'll look at alts as well. All right, we're going to get into the 2-week charts that look decent as well, right? So smash the like button, guys. We got a little bit more to go, a little bit more alpha to give you. I'm trying to bring you as much alpha every single day. You let me know in the comments, does it work for you? Do you appreciate it? Is it meeting your standards? If it is, smash the like button and let's continue. Total cryptocurrency market cap still looking good, just consolidating, just like Bitcoin. Let's quickly look at total 2. Also decent. We just want to see continued sideways price action over here with this holding up. Total 3 coming directly into resistance. This one has a bit more work to do. But the good news is it did break down that downsloping parallel channel, which was providing a whole lot of resistance. So watch for a little bit of a consolidation over here as per our Wyckoff reaccumulation schematics. The principles remain the same despite what chart you're looking at. You're waiting for a break above the top side of the trading range. That consolidation over here tends to lead into the big moves up, which showcases if total 3 is not even in the SOS phase, never mind the markup phase, then it's not too late, right? Because to correlate, where's Bitcoin in relation to this chart? Bitcoin is already trading up over here, right? Where's total 3? Total 3 is trading down here. It means there is still a lot of opportunity. All right, others, same thing. Also, it looks okay. Total 3 against Bitcoin is still coming down, but we expect that to end very, very soon. Others against BTC also coming down, but we also expect that should find a bottom just around 15 to 20% from now. All right. The 2-week charts. Let's have a look at the 2-week chart. So let me just grab my whale room Discord over here to look at the list of everything that I dropped. So I dropped a bunch of coins. I don't know if we're going to have time to go through all of them. If you want the rest of the coins that look good on the 2-week scale, you know where to find them. They're in the whale room Discord, but I'll go through as many as I possibly can. Let's go. Okay, 2-week scale over here. This is what a good chart looks like. Bitcoin leading the pack. This is a strong, healthy chart. Ethereum, right? This is why I said on Ethereum, it's not too bad yet. If you get a strong weekly candle close over here, then you can say if this candle somehow pushes up to around 3.5 this week, closes over here, you can expect that next week's candle should lead to rapid expansion. And if that does break through the $4,000 resistance, this is suddenly going to start to look really good. Remember that at the end of the day, when you're looking at something like Ethereum, this is still meeting the cup and handle criteria, right? You have your neckline over there that needs to break. You break out of your cup over here. You know, this starts to become a massive move if you're looking on the 2-week scale. All right, other ones that I have, believe it or not, Tron. Tron is one of the strongest coins out there. If you get a strong weekly close on Tron, of which we have 2 days and 17 hours left for the weekly close across the board, or 2 weekly close as well, then you can expect that the next 2 weeks are going to be really good. What I like about the next 2 weeks is that the bull moon suggests that you should have a major high within that 15-day period, 14 to 15-day period. What I also like about it is that historically we've seen the 3rd week of November put in the biggest gains, right? Somewhere around that 18 to 23 November, when you pull the statistics, that's usually where you get the best return. So we're still waiting for something like that to possibly occur, which means that this could just be a bear trap, right? Shaking players out and immediately price expands towards the upside. What we did in the beginning of the show is just simply outline the risk factors, right? Which means how do you de-risk? If you're in spot, remain long. If you're in leverage, reduce your leverage and don't get liquidated. As simple as that. Okay, other good ones to look at. We have, let's go to SUI. Where's SUI? SUI. Where are you? Here we go. SUI, of course, very, very powerful move over here. Super strong. One of the leaders of the pack. Winners back winners, right? Winners back winners. This is a winner. We were already getting long on this absolutely ages ago. I actually think since near these lows over here, back tested into the breakout level, SR flip and expansion. Now, I'm not advocating that you buy SUI over here by any means, but a lot of the coins that we're looking at, are currently situated within this region, only just completing their SR flip right now, where they're back testing into support, which means soon you're going to see that expansion towards the upside. The other one that I'm looking at is TON, right? This is one that I'm talking about. So could it be that TON is possibly doing the SR flip? So again, comparing to SUI, that would be like TON being down here. It is possible. It's possible that if you start to see expansion, the other coins lead, right? Things like Bitcoin, things like SUI are leading. If ETH starts to break out, that's a telling sign that, maybe soon you could start to see expansions and not immediately, not necessarily this week, but in the coming weeks, you could very quickly start to see those expansions from a lot of the coins over here. If TON loses that level, of course, you have a huge weekly fair value gap, which is coming in all the way below. That's $3.80. All right, other coins that we're looking at, we know that Solana has been one of the top picks, one of the strongest positions over here, and you can see just starting to break out from this, right? So Solana, possible expansion over here. If you get a strong weekly close or 2-week close, expect that the next 2 weeks is probably going to lead to that rapid expansion towards the upside. Okay, Mantra, that's the next one that I have on the list. Again, guys, I'm not going to be able to necessarily go through all of them. As it currently stands, this has been one of the strongest positions. We need to wait to see how this next 2 days and 17 hours goes, if there's going to be a wick that's left at the top. Personally, I've taken a lot of profit on Mantra, but I'm still holding about a 1% bag as part of my total portfolio. About 1% of my portfolio is still in Mantra. Okay, one that may surprise you, that looks like it's pretty strong, and I was looking at it today, is actually BNB, right? BNB, similar, chart pattern to a whole lot of these coins. It's got this cup and handle formation over here. You back tested perfectly into this $500 zone. You're holding that as support. If the rest of the market starts to break out, I would expect that BNB would be one of the strong coins. Another surprising one over here was BGB, right? The BitGet token. I really never thought until I looked on these high time frames that, some of these exchange tokens would be looking like this, but big swipe down over there, liquidation event, but still maintaining above the top side. And this is a strong chart, onwards and upwards. This is one of your big hitter strong charts, right? Again, I don't think we're going to go through all of them, guys, but we'll go into a couple of the meme coin ones. Ponky, very, very strong. If you get a strong 2-week close above this level, that's essentially the breakout. And that means the next 2-week candle, you're looking for rapid expansion, and this thing should then start to explode. Okay, the other one that we have, 𝗕𝗢𝗓𝗓. 𝗕𝗢𝗓𝗓 looks strong as well. You got 3 candles that have defended this all-important 0.0006 level. The fact that you've been holding above that and you've started to expand tells me that probably the next 2-week candle, if you come down a little bit, is still going to end higher than the rest of these. That looks good. We know that Pepe has already started to break out, and this is what I'm talking about. I expect a lot of the candles to do this, right? So following those little order blocks, those little consolidations at key supports, you're then looking for expansion. Look at this, Brett, right? About to break out right now. Very, very strong. If this candle starts to close anywhere here or higher, I'm expecting a huge breakout from Brett. Currently, my biggest meme coin position by far. I think it makes up about 7% of my total portfolio right now, which is huge, right? Massive, massive trade over there. I'm looking for big, big, big move on Brett. Next up, we have Turbo, right? Look at that chart, looking really good. SR flip coming back into this region. And these are high time frame charts, right? 2, 4, 6 weeks holding above this key level over here. It's inevitable that at some point soon, you're also going to get expansion on Turbo. The rest of them, guys, are in whale room. I'm going to leave a couple of them, you know, just to add value to the whale room members, because that's part of the group, right? As we don't want to give everything to the show as well on a silver platter, but we're giving you a little bit of a taste. When we look at Ethereum over here, you can see I have marked out as well the key 50% level. So using that Fibonacci tool, if you do get a continued sell-off, I think around 2,900, you see ETH USD finding some major support. Having a look at Solana, again, this is why the best case scenario right now is for the market to just remain sideways, defend this level, create a bull flag, and then later you can lead to continuation. At the end of the day, the trend is your friend till the end of the trend. The trends are very much towards the upside. Don't fade it, right? Look for opportunities over there. All of it's in whale room. You can read through all the various different testimonials. You know, if you want to learn more about it, see what it's about, everything is over there. Whale School is for free. You know, maybe you don't want to join Whale Room yet, but you want to do Whale School, which is totally free. As long as you pick one, right? Please just get a community, whether it's Whale Room or Whale School, get a community that you can stick with, trade with, and you can succeed, right? It's much easier if we do this all together as opposed to running at it alone, right? So we can take a few more requests. Please drop them in the comment section. We'll get to the requests. Oh yeah, Whale School, by the way, 19 days left. I think spots are running out because we have a lot of new people coming into the market. So you're going to have to be really quick. Drop the chart requests that you have in the comment section. I'll pull up as many of them as I possibly can. We see Cardano, 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗕𝗏, Tier, Mini. Yeah, let's have a look at some of those. Before we go into those, guys, if you can, pause the video, then pause the video. Remember, sign up to the newsletter and then also join into the competition for Blowfin, right? Don't forget, very important. Okay, let's go into some of those. So we have, you guys say Bitcoin. Bitcoin was one of them. Let's have a look at Bitcoin over here. How's this doing? This is one of the meme coins we got in early. Bitcoin is not the Bitcoin that most of you are thinking of. This is Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, Inu, in brackets, ETH. Literally, that's the name of it. We were accumulating this all the way here on this yellow trend line on the lows. We've had a really good move over here. I should probably change this up a little bit, even though we found that as a major resistance level. I think that we can focus. Let's just quickly do that again. I think we can focus more now on the horizontals, right? So some of your key horizontals you're looking to flip into support over there. That's that 20 cents region. If you can keep holding this, you should lead to a big move up, right? All right, what else have we got? We got FET. Let's go to FET over here. So I did have a look at some of the AI coins. They haven't, especially on the 2-week scale, right? I had a look at them on the 2-week scale. They're not moving yet. They're still very low. There's a lot of opportunity over here though. So there it is. If you look at FET, there's your SR flip. You know, anywhere around here, you're looking for a bit of a rounded bottom to start to form. But let's have a look at it on the daily time frame. That is your 2-week time frame, daily time frame for FET. Here it is. All right, so still chopping about. That's your range low. I do expect that this range low should hold. Any dips into that range low become the reaccumulation zone. And it will probably take a bit of time, right? Reaccumulation, push up, and then you wait for it to break above the yellow line, which is at about 150, and then that will open up the trading range to the top side over there. All right, Cardano. Let's have a look at Cardano. Also recently had a decent move. There it is. Okay, if you're a Cardano hodler, you probably want to see very similar to Bitcoin. I'm going to just outline the area. Probably want to form a trading range there now. That is at 50, call it 52 cents. You don't want to see any closing candles below 52 cents. If you're a Cardano holder, that's what you want to see. And then hopefully continuation. All right. Let's have a look. Jasmy. Let's go back to Jasmy. I see there's some requests on that. Okay, I still have my position on the table. There it is. Still chopping about. It will take a little bit of time, right? But very key level. You can see. I still like the chart. I like the setup. It will take a bit of time. Fair value gap. You came back. You refilled it perfectly. I guess if you want a hard invalidation, a strong stop loss zone, that's going to be below this wick that occurred on the 13th of November, which would mean if price comes down to 0.0188, that's probably where you want to get out of that position. Okay, Mini. Let's have a look at Mini. It's also another one of the meme coins that I'm in. Guys, keep in mind, I have a lot of meme coins, but yet this is one that I'm in. $50 million market cap, massive liquidity, 3.3 million. I mean, we got into this at the bottom of the range, again at the mid-range, and this has been a huge trade, right? So clear range low. Really not much to comment on this. It's just working level to level. This is what you expect. Remember, multiple different ranges, which I teach this, guys. I teach this in Wales School. Multiple different ranges that are stacked on top of one another, right? So let's lock the drawings in over there, and then I'll show you what I mean. Okay, multiple different ranges like that tend to create the trend, right? So you're just stepping up like that. You form the range, chop about, break up, come back to test the prior range level, more or less, form your new range, explode up, form the new range, explode up, and that's essentially how these trends form, right? Multiple blocks stacked on top of each other create those trends. Okay, let's see Rika resistance cat. We can have a look at that. Down 15%, still very low. Most of us got in around, I think, a $1 million market cap, so he's still up a lot. It's 2.56 million. Let's see. Big move up over there. If it does happen to come back down to 17 cents, that's probably a decent area to get resistance cat. If cats flip dogs, TON runs. Remember, we looked at TON and the possibility for expansion on TON. Then this becomes the levered bet, right? So if that's your SR flip, in a couple of weeks' time, you might start to see TON moving up. Then that's your SR flip, support resistance flip on TON. And then this is your leverage bet, is resistance cat and resistance dog, right? Let's have a look at resistance dog. $33 million market cap now coming down. I think these are still going to do well. I really do. There it is, key range level. I mean, you've back tested that already. You want to hold that and then start to move. Okay, Myro. Yeah, let's have a look at Myro. Myro, let's quickly pull that up. Myro USDT. All right, here it is. Okay, Myro USDT, still looking good, right? Similar to, which one did we look at? Jasmy. Very similar to Jasmy's chart. It just traded a little bit high up, and I expect continuation, right? First profit-taking zone around that 27, 28 cents region. Next profit-taking zone around 40 cents. And then TP3 is where this thing breaks into price discovery and just continues to move onwards and upwards, right? So again, guys, if you do want to learn more, we'll take a couple more requests. But if you want to learn more, also, please do join Wales School. It's completely free while there is still a sign-up opportunity over there. And then if you want to take your things to the next level, read the blog. Read the blog. We write every single day, Monday to Friday, not weekends. Monday to Friday, we're writing in there. These are your free resources. And then, of course, you guys know it. You do have Whale Room. That's going to be a paid group, but that's where you're getting the absolute best of the best. There's 3 other coaches there to train you up as well. All right, grass. Yeah, let's have a look at grass. I think grass is coming down. When I last looked at it, let's have a look. Grass USDT started to look like it's pulling back. Let's see. Okay, so this one's definitely an interesting one. I do think there'll be some, dip buyers that are going to step in. You do have an absolutely huge fair value gap that's situated over here. Have you touched it yet? Not yet. So I think if you're looking for an opportunity and you want exposure to get grass, maybe the pullback into the $2 to 233 is going to be your zone, right? Remember that in trading, there's no guarantee that you hit these levels, right? Price could theoretically just start to move up like this, especially on something that's new like this. There's not that much price history, but those are the levels that I'd be looking at. If you want to be greedy on your trade, wait for something like that. You probably see a bit of a wick form. Price still closes up, and then that's your trigger, right? Once you put that wick in. Okay, what else, guys? EOS, yeah, let's have a look at EOS. Oh, and someone asked for 𝗪𝗡𝗓. So let's quickly go to, there it is. There's 𝗪𝗡𝗓. Okay, 𝗪𝗡𝗓 putting back, possible bump and run in play. Remember, bump and run, you break a long-term trend line, which is this one over here. Break the long-term trend line. If it is a bump and run scenario, then you bump and you run, right? At the end of the day, you have your low. You're looking for the higher low, literally pretty much right here on the spot. You don't want to see this really trading much low. If it starts to break back down over here, you can consider that a bull trap scenario, and then this is going lower. Currently, I've been loading up on 𝗪𝗡𝗓. Personally, I've been building a bit of a position over here because I'm leaning more towards this is going to find support, anywhere about around, 14 to this 16 region. 14 to 16 is kind of my buy zone. I'm looking for support to be found there. And then when the rest of the market breaks up, I think continuation from that point. All right, there was another one. Which one did I just miss? There was a question there, and I said I would have a look at it. Let's have a look at Casper, because Casper's obviously been all over the place lately, and at the end of the day, it is one of our coins in our portfolio. So I'm still leaning towards, support to be found over here, reaccumulation to be found, and then hopefully this can get above the mid-range at 14. Where are we wrong on the idea and the whole thing fails? If you start to take out this low and you're closing multiple candles underneath 0.096, we have to reevaluate. This is why we have a diversified portfolio. If you go all in on one coin, you will get wrecked. At the end of the day, I do personally still believe that this is all massive reaccumulation range, right, that you're seeing. And I think that this is going to perform super, super well in the bull run. I think that Casper has shown a lot of strength. It's a proof of work coin as well. And the strong coins tend to continue being strong. So that's it from me, folks. I'll catch all of you on tomorrow's stream. Remember, if you do want to join, read the Whale Trades article, get your account ready for 𝗕𝗓𝗘, and I'll see you there. And then the rest of you, take advantage of the Black Friday special for Whale Room. It's not going to be around for very long. This is going to be the biggest discount that you'll see for a whole year until next year, Black Friday. So I'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day, and cheers for now.